Hello? Hello and welcome. We've finally started our journey and Camino day one from the lovely town of Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. And I must say, if you have a chance to come to Saint-Jean, if you're doing a Camino, don't just use the town as a starting point. It is beautiful in its own right and well worth looking around, exploring, dining, just experiencing the town. We took the time to visit on our first day. We went up behind the town and explored the old citadel that's up the hill and got some gorgeous morning views, and just the citadel itself is like something out of a fantasy or a medieval movie.
It really did feel like stepping back in time.
It was and gorgeous, and it's well maintained. I think it's lush green at the moment, being May, and we couldn't read any of the signs to explain what it was in history, but clearly it was a fortification over this part of the world, and just was another part of St. Jean that was worth seeing that we might not have seen otherwise.
It was very beautiful and mystical and romantic in its own right.
So we'd arrived in Saint-Jean the night before. Bit of a palaver, I think we mentioned in the last video about getting here, but we came into town in the afternoon. We registered at the pilgrim's office. We visited the pilgrim supplies store and bought things like the fetching buffs that we're wearing there at the moment, which is now my favourite item of clothing.
And a knife to open packets of cheese.
Knife to open and cut cheese along the way. And then we said goodbye after a late start and a baguette and a croissant, and headed off through the town and started walking. Our journey started. Our first day was planned that we would be walking to a place called Borda, which is just past Orisson, which is about 8 to 9 kilometres from St. Jean. It's half of the normal stage, or just under half of the normal stage that people would do, but
it's very steep. The elevation is, I've forgotten, 700.
It's 700 and something metres.
In 8 kilometres, so it's quite steep.
It's quite a steep incline, so the entirety of this stage is pretty much uphill, and we wanted to give ourselves a warm and calm and relaxing start to the journey.
A gentle start.
That's right. And so we took the time and said, well, we'll just break that first day into two, and booked our accommodation at Borda with a planned stop at Orisson for lunch.
Walking through the Pyrenees mountains was absolutely beautiful. pilgrims were absolutely beautiful and magnificent.
It was stunning, wasn't it?
Very much so. There's several varieties of sheep which I really enjoyed taking photos of, and cows with bells, which apparently the bells are not good for the cows, but they sound nice to
hear in the distance. Oh, this was our first stop on the way up. It's a donativo, so it's actually, it seems to be just some local resident who opens up her garage and has refreshments available for pilgrims, and you just give a donation and you can get, we got like a little chocolate bun and a hot chocolate or something and a piece of fruit. It was lovely.
And we met some really lovely fellow pilgrims there, and we've crossed paths many times since and shared meals with and accommodation, and yeah, that was really lovely.
Yeah.
Fortunate with the weather. It was a really mild, sunny day, no rain, no fog, so spectacular views.
It was good because it was really foggy in St. Jean, because of course we're at such a high altitude that, you know, so many of the towns and places are already up in the clouds. But it did clear, as you can see. The skies were blue and the clouds were flowing past freely. But it was gorgeous.
Perfect weather.
It really was perfect. We were very fortunate in that respect.
Yeah, really lovely for our first day. We'd worked in terms of getting our fitness up and breaking the first day into two to give us the best chance of having an easy and lovely start.
Yes.
After watching so many other people, Camino journey on YouTube, it was really surreal to be there ourselves. And, you know, I'd had doing the Camino sort of on my mind, in the back of my mind for probably nearly 20 years. So it was almost not quite real. It's taken a few days to really, for it to start to feel real.
Yeah, it has been very much awakening, I suppose, to the fact that, we're here, we're doing this. Every so often we just look at each other and just go, this is happening. It's magic and it's bizarre and it's so great to be finally here and happening. was that?
That was far easier than I was expecting. After reading so many Facebook posts and whatnot, I was really expecting it to be a real slog, very difficult, but it's kind of like doing Mount Lofty.
Twice.
Perhaps
yeah.
a little easier than Mount Lofty.
I think possibly that could just be the way we did it though, because I think Mount Lofty, you're just in a hurry to get to the top. There was no rush to get here. Having the time to stop and take photos and see the animals.
The countryside is spectacular.
It's gorgeous. By the way, in case you hadn't picked up, we made it to Refuge Orisson, which is the first stop. We were planning to get here for lunch. And look, we have got here for lunch. It is about midday.
Beer o'clock.
And we weren't quite expecting to get here this quickly. Everyone was saying 3 hours, allow 3 hours. The signage at the thing said allow 3 hours. We did it in 2.
Hello.
Bonjour.
Hey.
Could we please have 2 bowls of the vegetable soup?
Oh no, that's
No.
finished for now.
Oh, no.
Let's see about the menu restaurant. Do you want?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I do not know.
I was really looking forward to that bowl of vegetable soup.
Yeah.
No vegetable soup. Our
We were
training,
we were
our
prepared for-
training helped.
We were prepared for 3 hours or more. We've got here in 2.
3.5 we were told.
Yeah. And I don't feel that we were rushing.
We stopped, we had a cup of tea and a cup of coffee
We stopped at Donativo.
in that 2 hours. So
Donativo.
if you've got I don't know if it's a basic level of fitness, maybe a reasonable level of fitness, doable, completely doable.
Join in when you're ready.
I'm here,
You
I'm
are
present.
Here. You're present in the moment. I think we definitely made the right decision to book for Borda and take a relaxing first day. It's not felt real,
It is a bit surreal, that's true.
and I didn't want to rush past it and not have the chance to wake up to
And to
the
relax,
reality.
that's true.
Although it's
I think maybe physically we could have done
I think definitely physically we could have done it.
a longer first day.
Yeah,
but
I'm not feeling doubt about that.
maybe emotionally it's nice to have a relaxed start.
Hmm.
No pressure. We're going to get to albergue early.
Yep, they don't open until 2:30. We'll
So
probably
long
be
lunch.
there. Yeah, or we can finish lunch and go and hang out on the deck chairs that they've got there.
What a spectacular place to have lunch. Check out the view.
So yes, it's Refuge Orisson. You can stay here. So there's a dorm here and there's a couple of private rooms. So
I can ask a different person.
Well, that's
for
about
soup.
all.
Yeah, I think
It's about all we need to say.
yeah, I think that's good.
So yes, day 1 leg almost done.
Buen Camino.
Buen Camino.
Buen Camino.
Nice. Yes, I will eat your tomato, and I'm willing to swap.
My colleague, I trail.
Thank
Don't
you.
move.
Thank you.
And so after what seemed like a short walk, really, it's much less time than we anticipated, we arrived here at Borda, which was our albergue for the night. It was an old farmhouse that had been bought by a man called Laurent, but he pronounces it in a French accent. We were here early, so we grabbed a hot chocolate from the vending machine and we introduced ourselves to 2 Americans and a Canadian who was also here early. Then, of course, the place opened. Laurent showed everybody their accommodation, and we'd, of course, been fortunate to have secured the private suite, which is just gorgeous.
Lovely. And we learnt the albergue rules. Like Laurent took the time to introduce us to taking our shoes off and not bringing them in the accommodation, and leaving your packs in a particular place and your hiking poles, which is standard for albergues.
And everyone got the same treatment, settled in, and then we all joined each other for a communal dinner, which was beautifully cooked and shared experience.
It was really delicious.
It was delicious, and he'd made vegetarian meal for us, and we got up, introduced ourselves and told our story to all of the other pilgrims.
It was a really lovely beginning to our Camino.
It really was, and we've been bumping into those same people again and again and again since.
Shared several drinks and several meals.
And the rest will have to wait until the next video, where we tell about what we've done since then. Buen Camino.
Buen Camino.